अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम है सुदेश क्रिएटिविटी वाला। तो मैं रेहान स्कूल ACCL का मुझे यहाँ पे आए 1 मंथ हो चुका है। तो आज हमारा टास्क कॉलोनी का और कॉलोनी टॉपिक है wow the origin of an exploration of surprise। तो ये हमारे कॉलोनी होने वाली है कम से कम 10 मिनट्स की।
Good day to you too.
Hi Maya.
I've got to know, what's the highlight of your day so far? I'm all ears. Actually, if you're just getting settled, maybe you're not sure yet. What kind of mood are you in today?
What does the word wow mean? What does the word wow mean?
The classic. Wow is the ultimate linguistic Swiss Army knife. It's that punchy little exclamation we use when something totally catches us off guard. Most of the time, it's pure amazement, but the real magic is in how it shifts based on your tone. You can use it when you're genuinely floored, or you can throw in a little sarcasm if something is, well, less than impressive. It's a total mood setter. When was the last time you actually felt like saying it? Speaking of okay, that one has such a weird backstory. Did you know it actually started as a joke? Back in the 1830s, there was a trend of intentionally misspelling phrases for laughs, and all correct became one of them. It eventually stuck and became one of the most used words on the planet. Pretty wild that a typo became a global, right? It's kind of the ultimate.
When is the word wow commonly used?
Wait, welcome? Now that's a word that's secretly doing a lot of heavy lifting. People usually think of it as a way to make someone feel included, but that's actually got a pretty cozy origin. It comes from two Old English words that literally mean welcome. Essentially, you're wishing that someone's arrival is a positive thing for everyone involved. It's one of those words that shifts its meaning depending on the situation. You use it to greet a guest, but then it totally pivots into a way to say no problem after someone says thank you. There's actually a pretty interesting reason why it became our go-to phrase for the end of a thank you loop.
Where did the word wow originate?
Wait, the word world or the actual planet?
Where did the word wow originate?
Oh, you mean the phrase you're welcome? The way we use that to end a thank you loop is actually pretty fascinating. Back in the day, welcome was just about greeting someone, but over time it evolved into a social agreement. Now, when you say it, you're essentially saying the favor was a pleasure for you to do. It's like a polite way of closing the transaction so the other person doesn't feel like they owe you one. Turns a moment of obligation into a moment of connection.
When was wow first recorded in English?
That's one of those things that's been around for a really long time. It's a word that's essentially been the main character of English for ages, tracing all the way back to the Old English word lufu between the 5th and 11th centuries. Some sources even find evidence of it as early as the 700s. It's actually part of a huge family of words that date back to a root meaning to care or desire. It's pretty poetic that the core of the word has basically stayed the same for over 1,000 years.
Why do people use wow to express surprise?
Wait, you got me. You totally caught me off guard there. Why do you think people use expressions that everyone around the world recognizes?
Is wow
Fair enough.
considered an interjection?
No worries. I'll be right here. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by law consumer as an introduction, but I'm curious to hear more when you get back.
Is wow considered an interjection?
Not so sure. Actually, I think you mean like an introduction to law course. That's when you start with the basics, like the main purposes of law and how legal systems actually work. It's basically the hello world of the legal world.
What emotions can wow express beside surprise?
Wait, law is an emotion? I think we might have had a little mix up. I've been talking about the legal system, but I have a feeling you're thinking of something else entirely. What did you have in mind?
How has the meaning of wow changed over time?
That's a bit of a big one, but basically, it's the idea that things don't stay the same. Whether it's a word in a language, the way a. Huh, you caught me again. I'm starting to think you're playing a game with me today. Did you have a specific word or phrase in mind that's changed over time? Actually, it's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? Language is kind of like a living thing, constantly shifting. It's wild how a word that meant one thing 100 years ago can mean something totally different now. What
Can
word are you thinking
wow
of?
express both positive and negative emotions?
Absolutely. The real magic of language is that a single word can completely flip its meaning based on the tone of voice or the context you're in. You could say something like unbelievable when you've just won the lottery, and it's a total celebration. But if you say unbelievable when someone cuts you off in traffic, it's pure frustration. What emotion are you feeling right now?
What is the difference between wow and wow?
Wait, HUA? You got me wondering if this is another one of your surprises. I just looked it up and it turns out HUA has a few different lives. In the military, it's shorthand for heard, understood, and acknowledged. Basically, like a professional got it. On the flip side, it can just be an exclamation of joy. So while wow is that universal spark of amazement, HUA is either a very focused mission received or just pure excitement, depending on who's saying it.
What are some synonyms for wow?
Oh, you've got tons of options. Depending on what you're feeling, you could go with something like amazing or incredible if you're floored. Or you could keep it a bit punchier with things like no way or holy cow. Which one fits the mood you're in?
How do children learn to use the word wow?
It's kind of like they're picking up a social superpower by accident. They usually hear it first as a reaction from the adults around them when something cool happens. Once they realize that saying wow gets a reaction or mirrors the excitement they're seeing, they start testing it out. It's one of those first tools they use to signal to the world, hey, look at this. It's almost like they're learning the soundtrack to being surprised.
Is wow used in many languages?
That is a really interesting thought. I've noticed that law is a word you've brought up a few times now. Still a little stuck on how you're using it, though. When you say this law is used in many languages, do you mean like the legal rules we follow, or are you thinking of a law in a different way, like a pattern or a rule for how language works?
Thank you for this watching this colony. Allah Hafiz.